Greetings to our wonderful viewers watching us around the world. I'm Tatawwar's ambassador and your host for tonight, Saida Fatma, representing Dubai. I'd like to welcome you all for the 6th episode of YES, known as Youth Empowerment Series. Today we are discussing about the benefits of extracurricular activities with our special guests. We have Umaima, like always, my co-host, sharing with some great insights and trends and be part of the interesting discussion we will have soon. So stay tuned till the end. Before we go ahead, let me introduce you to the program. Now, what is Tatawwar? Tatawwar is an interactive online and face-to-face program that brings together students aged 15 to 18, schools, parents, and the business community to innovate for a sustainable future by addressing the 3 United Nations Sustainable Development Goals that are first, health and well-being, second, water and sanitation, third, climate action. Now, if you missed the previous episode that we spoke on the first 2 United Nations goals, do check it out. It's on YouTube. Now, many of you have heard Tatawwar, but what does this word really mean? It means in Arabic to develop, encourages students to learn and apply core future skills in the area of innovation, thinking, financial literacy, critical thinking, and entrepreneurship, using a blended approach to empower the youth. The Tatawwar helps them to take challenges they are facing in the communities and turn them into innovative opportunities. Now, did you know that the past 3 edition of the program has been seen more than 10,000 students across 2,800 schools from Middle East and North Africa region itself, registering in blended learning experience. Now, having an online and mobile first strategy helps the Tatawwar to reach remote regions and make it accessible to all students. After building a solution on the online platform, the talented youth with the best solution are invited to the workshop in their cities closest to them. Now, given the impact that the Tatawwar has on the community across the MENA region, it has been recognized internationally, winning several prestigious awards. The program won 2 gold awards at the Gulf Sustainable Award 2021, the Best Learning and Education Program, and for the Best Community Development, and also a Bronze Award in the International CRS Excellent Awards, and can go on by shortlisting in Global Goods Awards for the Education Excellence and Special Judges Awards for the Innovation category. And the exciting news is that now we are the finalists in the International Business Excellence Awards in 2021 in not 1, but 2 categories that are the most effective social impact and the Team of the Year. In the most recent news, the finalists in the Wanson Reimage Education Awards for the Best Online Program. So we're looking forward for the finals that is going to happen in December. So the Tatawwar 2022 will be even more special. Now you're asking, how is it even going to be more special than it already is? It's because the finals are going to take place in Dubai and in Expo 2020. Now, this has been a lot of exciting news and information that I have just shared with you. But in our today's episode, I'd like to introduce and welcome our esteemed special guest speakers, Mr. Luke Ong from GEMS Founder School, who is the Deputy Head of Education, and Ms. Noshin Saberi, an Professor of Economics. We'd like to know more about you personally, starting from Mr. Luke. Let's hear from you.
Hi everyone, how are you all? Thank you for the lovely welcome, and it's amazing to hear of all the amazing, the vision that you have. I think youth empowerment is something that we need to be able to develop in order to see a brighter, a more sustainable future. And it's an honour to be here to be able to speak to people today. As you said, I'm Deputy Head at GEMS Founder School, started this year. Have been in Dubai, a teacher before that at Cambridge International School, where I spent 10 years. And I spent a lot of time particularly working with students in extracurricular activity, leadership, with a keen focus on debate, both at the school but also across the UAE, being involved in competitions such as golf debates, Dubai Debate League, and also helping with the management of the UAE national debate team as well. So that's afforded me the amazing opportunity of managing to meet so many of the bright minds from across the UAE, and I'm looking forward to sharing a bit of insight into what I know about extracurricular over the course of this amazing event. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Luke. We're very excited to hear from you as well. What about you, Ms. Nosheen Saberi?
Good evening. Thanks, Ms. Diarrhea, Omama, Sayeda, for inviting me to Youth Empowerment Series. 3 decades back, I mastered in economics from Mumbai University, India. Later taught the subject in Miral International School, Riyadh, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. After having my children, my main focus was their education and well-being. Ever since I have been involved in parent learning support group in GEMS, the Millennium School, and our own high school, and in the parent council of GEMS First Point, Dubai.
I think we have some great experts here to speak on our topic today. I would like to ask the first question to both of you, starting off with Mr. Luke. Should extracurricular activity be important, and why do you think that way?
Thank you. Good question. I would also like to apologise to everyone for my attire today. I wouldn't normally come on and speak in such informal clothing, but pressures of weekend have meant that I've not had time to put a shirt on. So I do apologise. Extracurricular activities, are they important? I mean, in a short one word of yes. And I think we know that. I think that we should be encouraged to take part in them. I think they're incredibly important for the holistic development of every child that goes into the educational system. I think the big part of the question, obviously, is the why are they so important? And I think to do that, we just have to take a quick look at what curriculum means and some of the pressures that schools have and have faced for hundreds of years. And we've got a very sort of, in some respects, quite an archaic education system in what should be taught in the curriculum, how as students will be assessed at the end of that curriculum. Now, as educators, we do try and enrich that curriculum in lesson time, so for your different individual subjects, but there's still that body of work that has to be completed in a set time in a classroom, and a teacher will be generally under pressure to deliver that and get you ready for those sort of archaic style exams that you would all sit at the end of the year and the pressure that comes along with that. So for me, extracurricular is being able to step outside of that, in some cases, outdated system and remove some of that pressure. And I think when we remove pressure from individuals, whether you're students, no matter what age you are, I think creativity begins to flourish and innovation begins to flourish, and people can seem to strive when you take them outside of that classroom experience. And I think extracurriculums is an excellent vehicle for that. They're an opportunity. I think we'll probably talk more about it later, but they are really an opportunity for students to seek something they're interested in and not be worried or bogged down by the idea of a syllabus to fill and an assessment at the end. And that way it allows you to step out and really thrive. Additionally, I mean, by extracurricular, I generally like to see extracurricular that spans across age groups, and they're not restricted to one sort of age cohort. And this is another thing we have in the very archaic system, is that we treat everyone as by an age. And we all know that we don't all learn at the same pace. We're not interested in the same things at the same time. So as an educator, to be able to give that opportunity where we take them out of them confines and allow students to mix and communicate and collaborate with students from different year groups, different ages, I think, again, that's another sort of recipe to help create a more sort of innovative learning environment, a more creative learning environment. And then what that breeds is it sort of breeds students that they're learning off each other. They're a bit more free to take risks. And what that brings is obviously an enhancement of sort of some more high performance learning skills. Your collaboration, empathy, hard work, perseverance, risk taking. It allows more of that. But extracurriculars have to be managed and they have to be developed and led in a very particular way. I'm not sure if we come to this a bit later, so I'll leave that for now. But I think, yes, they're very important. Why? Because there's an environment where, and an opportunity where students can really flourish more than sometimes in the sort of the conventional curriculum lessons. Obviously, we see them and extracurriculars on every university application form that gets sent off around these times every year. Yeah, that is one thing. It helps a student, but for me, it's not about that. It's about their holistic development into a young adult and what they learn about the world and life around them. That's really important.
I think that's a very great answer, I think, and I totally agree how extracurricular activity is something that it does put a student outside the safety zone by thinking, oh, can I do this? Or am I good enough? I think that's where you grow. So I totally agree with what you said, word to word. But what about you, Ms. Noshin Saberi? Do you think extracurricular activity should be important or not? You're muted. I think we all have the Zoom problem where you have to mute and unmute. That's a lot of exercise.
Mr. Luke has given a very beautiful picture about what extracurricular activities and how important it is. So from my side, before I move on to answering the question, let me explain what exactly is extracurricular activities are. Any activity that is performed by students outside of the realm of normal curriculum of school, college, or university education, in simple word, after school activities. Studies have shown students involved in extracurricular activities reduce the likelihood of dropping out of schools, likelihood of committing a criminal offense, leads to higher educational attainment and success and achievements in school work. Diversity in clubs and extracurricular activities plays a vital role in adolescent life and future. Exposure to diverse group can help to promote adolescents to become social, intelligent, and responsible adults.
Thank you for sharing your answer. Again, that's a brilliant answer. I must say, I think both of you are hitting the same direction, but in different reasons. How students, when they're exposed to activities, they don't think about doing the other bad stuff when we're told not to do. So I'd like to ask this question to you, Mr. Luke. What different type of activities are there in school and outside school, and what students are highly recommended to participate in?
Hi, yes, another good question. I mean, when you're looking at a school, I think as a parent, you generally look and see, what's on the menu of after school activities? What are they doing above and beyond the curriculum? And nowadays you can look across different schools, after school activities, extracurricular activities, however we're going to coin them. And you can see everything from sort of beginner coding to advanced robotics, debate club, speech club, football, netball. You've got absolutely everything. And I think there's no limit really to what we can have. I mean, in our school this year, we've introduced enrichment periods, which is pretty much an extracurricular lesson timetabled into the day. And what was nice is and what I've always stood by is that actually students really should be pushing and leading the ideas as to what they want to do outside of the curriculum. And that way you get a lot more diverse offering. And you'll generally find that some of the ideas that comes from students is because they have an interest, and then you'll get a higher level of engagement. So I don't think there's any sort of set of activities that we should be putting on in schools. I think the idea and what we touched on before is the diversity of them, but also that they're coming from the student voice and being led from what the students desire and want to be involved in. A good example of that is when I was at Cambridge International School. We had a group of students that were fascinated with finance, everything finance, the stock market, looking at what we could do there. And it's all become very, what's the word? It's at your fingertips now. Anyone can be involved with the exponential rise of these different technologies. It's not just a banker in the city in a suit being able to engage in these sort of financial sort of pursuits. So we've got these students, and in the curriculum, we don't have this in depth. And also you touched upon in your introduction about financial literacy and the importance of understanding some of this. So they came to me with this idea, and 3 years later, they've got 40 people sitting in their classes, all very financial literate. And in his personal statement for a university, he talked about how much he had learned from having to deliver these classes on sort of financial literacy and the financial sector. So that's a really good example of like what sort of ECAs, extracurriculars should we be having. I think it's up to the school, managements of schools, to really listen to the students and see what they want and see what's important to them, and then try and facilitate them as best as possible in order for them to drive the ECA forward, to then really then build up a sort of strong group of students that will also be interested in that. I think that answers your question to some extent.
Yes, it does. It surely does. I like how you said it's not just like you're not pressurizing students to select one particular extracurricular activities. It's more like based on the interest and like, so giving the varieties as well as the freedom to choose their own path that leads them to give the different experiences and the responsible they become in the future. But what would you think, Ms. Nushin Saberi, as being a part of the parent council, what kind of activities did you think was important and recommend the students there?
Yeah, extracurricular activities can be in sports, arts, drama, music, hobbies, or voluntary work, social, philanthropical work. Extracurricular activities all complement academic activity. So there is an anecdotal evidence that combination of hyperactivity, ability to hyper-focus certain tasks such as training, can develop their skills to the next level. So basically, it's actually the interest of the students which we need to follow because it is important for their likes and dislikes. If a child is not ready to go for sports, involve him in something else which he likes. And every child has got some liking towards something. So it depends on the students also. And the school also provides, and I think the parents should also come out and focus more on extracurricular activities.
Thank you. That was a great answer. Again, you both are hitting on the same point. My last question to you would be, what is the difference between a student that engage with extracurricular activities and a student that doesn't? And how do the experience throughout the extracurricular activities shape an individual? I think you did hit some point, Mr. Luke, but I would like to highlight that point again from hearing you.
Do you want to go first, Naushin? Or?
Yeah, I think you should speak on that difference. I can say loads on this stuff because I have got 2 children, with learning disability. So I have done so many things with them here. So what you have to say is the difference between a student that engages with extracurricular activities and a student that doesn't involve in any activity. Like, what's the result? How do that students shape up to be? That's the question Sayeda is looking out for.
Yes, I think we would like to hear from you first. I think you have an experience with the students that you have worked throughout the whole school, so I think you'll give a more lengthier answer.
Yes, well, I mean, it's a difficult one, isn't it? Because, I mean, generally we see the benefits of those that do. I mean, I think it was highlighted in a previous question, some of the stats and research behind the benefits of a student. So you can quite clearly see the difference there of student. In terms of anecdotal, what I see and my experience, so obviously, 10 years ago when I started at CIS, I took over the debate club after about 2 years. So I worked closely with that debate club for about 8 years. And I had a second language student come along to debate club, and he was amazing, really good orator, passionate. Language was brilliant. Spoken language was brilliant. And he was in first language English at the time, but a teacher had highlighted him saying he can't continue with first language English. So the parent got involved, contacted the school, and I was quite a new teacher. I was teaching him debate, and the mum asked, look, can he be in Mr. Luke's first language class? So I was asked, look, would I accept him? He's been highlighted as someone that needs to go to second language. I said, yeah, fine. I still had another, it was about halfway through year 10. So I thought, I've got another year and a half. His ability, his intelligence is there like any other student. So I'm sure he can achieve first language English. He works hard in the classes, but after school, with World Scholars Cup, I took him to Singapore. I've since taken him to Harvard for an MUN. For his GCSEs, he got an A star in first language English and went on to do his A-levels at our school, where he got, again, I can't remember the grades, but they were A's and B's. And his parents sent me a letter as he left after he graduated. And it was detailing all the times that I'd had an impact on their son's life. And all those times, yes, there was a little bit where I took him on in the classroom and I trusted that he could do it. But actually all the times that they mentioned were different times at different events, both in Dubai, around the world where we've been debating, or a World Scholars Cup. And all the high points in his life that they were thanking me for were experiences we shared outside the curriculum. And that seems to be a common thread. I met some parents and an ex-student yesterday who I taught about 6 years back. We met for some dinner, met her mum and dad and her, and she's just on a short visit back from London where she's just finished at King's. And again, all we talked about was the different experiences outside the curriculum. She was my head of debate. Again, we'd traveled to New York. We'd been all around the world on debate competitions. And it was these experiences that her father, her mum and dad are so grateful for, and say shaped her into the sort of resilient, hardworking person she is. So I think that says something in itself, that I think a student that really engages in extracurricular, parents that really support and engage, and then a school that gives them that opportunity. If you've got that sort of triad of support, if you've got that, then that student is the game changer that we're trying to promote and create in this world. If they don't, then I'm not saying they won't be successful, but their experiences, they can't be as rich or fruitful. So they would have to have those experiences at some time in their life, whether that be at university or beyond. So, I mean, I'm here to promote, I will speak all day long to parents, teachers, managers of schools, that the focus of the school should be just as heavy on extracurricular than it is your curriculum. The only problem is sometimes we're not judged so much by that, and grades and attainment grades don't show you the worth of extracurricular. They just show you what's happened in the content of the curriculum. So.
Thank you for the answer. I love how you link the school, the parent, and the student. It's just not the student who's responsible for the extracurricular activities. It's actually the teachers and the parents who are supposed to push the students to excel in whatever they want to do. And I think being in Dubai, one of the most states that is responsible for extracurricular activities, the opportunities they give is excellent. How they come and just the students and also the teachers and the schools based not just on the curriculum that they teach daily, but the extracurricular activities to see if whether the students' well-being is important. Are they having the well-being provided by school by the extracurricular activities? So I love how you pointed that out. And I would like to hear from you, Ms. Noshin, about the difference between the students that engage with an extracurriculum and who doesn't.
But first of all, I agree with Mr. Luke. He said it very beautifully. It's the parent school and the students, they bring about the game changer, a change in their personality, So it is very imperative to involve students in extracurricular activities in order to harness their extra energy and motivate and use their productivity in order to reach their potentials. My journey of parenting has been a roller coaster, as I have been blessed with children who are amazingly adorable but had learning difficulties. My eldest son, Faisal, is an example of how he overcome with his learning difficulty. He was assessed as ADHD and dyslexic. He had crazy energy, literally rocking the house. Hence, with the help of the teachers, counselors, Shubha ma'am, Divya Menon, we've managed to channelize his energy by involving in sports such as swimming, football, yoga, exercise, and indulging in him activities that will help him to dissipate their energy and ready to focus on his studies and perform better and pay more attention. Today he has overcome his difficulties. Today he has overcome his difficulties. Has overcome his difficulties in learning, in amazingly doing very well in studies. He is in his final year of civil engineering in Kingston University, London, preparing to take off his father's construction business. Another example is my second son, who was again diagnosed with ADD, attention problem, and hyperhidrosis, profound sweating, that is. I enrolled him in robotic classes and is presently studying mechanical engineering in Cotton University, Dubai. Inshallah, he will also join his father's business in metro electrical company. Another example how extracurricular activities have helped in all over the development in personality is my adorable and beautiful daughter, Sayeda. She has made me proud by participating in MUN, various innovation technology competition, and has bagged few awards to her success in sports, debates, elocution, and public speaking. Most and not the least, Tatawwar has given her platform and groomed her into a leader of tomorrow. And those who, I think it is important the parents also take, I have seen the parents not really accepting the fact that the children are having learning disorder. So they just give away and give up. I really strive, and every day I would get up and think what I should do to make my children a better student, a better citizen of tomorrow. So even if you are not given a chance, the environment, but we have to create an environment, and we have to make ways to bring our children to that level, So those people who don't really care, they are left behind in the rat race. And those who really take care and strive to attain the perfection, they are really successful. I thank you all for inviting me to this program, and I wish you good luck.
Thank you. I think that's a beautiful example that you gave of my brothers. I think I've seen them growing from not even opening a book to now actually constantly working hard as a student to develop their, public speaking skills, their social skills, even though they had difficult learning disorders. I just think even if you have anything, that doesn't stop who you are. But I think extracurricular activity is the best example how you can improve yourself as a human being. So thank you so much, Mr. Luke and Ms. Noshin Saberi, for developing some great ideas and responses that you just shared on the benefits of extracurricular activities with our viewers. We have Umayma as well, and I would like to answer and ask one question, is that being a student, how did extracurricular activities help you, Umayma?
Thank you so much, Saida. So I grew up being encouraged to participate in as many extracurricular activities and volunteering activities as possible apart from academics. And I did everything. So debate, speech, whatever it is, I did, and I learned from that. I believe that those experiences that I had growing up and even today have shaped me to be who I am and thrive. Confidence here, I believe, is also key. If I hadn't pushed myself to do the things that I did and learned, I wouldn't be able to know as much as I do what my true potential is, and I would be more afraid to try things. That's what these activities do. They push you to do your best and help you grow. Tatawwar has been one of the biggest experiences for me personally. I've got to engage a lot, compete, and collaborate with peers. And as you can probably tell, Saida, you're one of them, and you're really incredible. There's so much we can learn from each other. And I was also able to build leadership skills, learn about some of the major global issues there are, and innovate. Taking that challenge is an opportunity that will, again, taking that as an opportunity and really, again, growing. I think as youth, we need to do that. We need to take opportunities that will help us grow and learn more than what we already have at school, and even apply the knowledge that we have at school. So it's always encouraged to put what you learn to practice. Through these extracurricular activities, you can do that. And I hope that today's discussion has brought more meaning to how valuable these experiences are to both students and parents.
Thank you, Maima, for sharing your experience. I think I would thank everyone for being here. My personal experience being a student who didn't participate much in the extracurricular activities from my old school, I was a very shy person, I must say. It's kind of weird saying out loud because now I'm the opposite of being shy. I'm like the chatterbox wherever I go. But I have noticed that the extracurricular activities that I can name, like debate, public speaking, MUN, and also drama, I think it expressed how I should speak with people, how I should go above and beyond where I am right now. So I think also Tatawwar was one of the most biggest platform that gave me this opportunity to develop myself, not just as a student, but an entrepreneur and innovator, to think beyond the just issues, but come up with solution on time. It gave me so many 21st century skills and knowledges. So I would thank the Tatawwar and Umayma and Ms. Zaria for helping out and for being who I am right now. I would like to pass on again to Umayma, who would share some insights and trends on our topic.
All right, thank you. So glad to be back again for another bit of trends and insights. Today, we're covering some of the latest in education and some other really cool things to learn about. Starting off, I'm going to talk about the inclusion of gamification in education. Esports has now become, as we know, a multi-billion-dollar industry that has advanced in a short span of time, thanks to its growing demand, considering its strength to attract people. Moreover, the abundant exposure of digitalization of almost every format is a way of living for the millennials and Gen Z. Identifying the popularity of esports, especially among the age group who are still students, the new age learning system applied its potential as a powerful, engaging tool to educate and reach students from different stages. The process can enhance students' engagement levels to what games usually do, while improving their particular skills and optimizing their learning. This also proves to be a simple medium to create an inclusive and welcoming learning environment and learn in a way that they would enjoy. Education institutions are smartly blending gaming-based learning practices and esports into their curriculum, intending to maximize students' interests in learning more while excluding any additional burden or pressure on them. The benefits of this learning process can go beyond the four walls of the classroom and into the students' lives. Game-based elements applied for scoring points, setting a healthy competing environment among the fellow students, rooting teamwork and leadership skills, score tables, assimilating new information, testing their knowledge, and many more allows students to be surrounded with an atmosphere that helps them with their overall development. But among all its benefits, the best advantage of this is its self-teaching, giving anyone and everyone the access to use it. Here's another one. Certificate programs are all the rage. After breaking down both the growth and overall volume of searches based on the program type, there was no contest for the most in-demand category. Certificate program search queries had more year-over-year growth than any other program type. They also showed the highest search volume by a wide margin. COVID-19 has likely boosted this education trend further. Millions of people are out of work and looking for new training. Accelerated online courses, certifications, and certificate programs will be appealing options. In addition, in-demand programs like computer coding and IT are moving away from traditional universities to more affordable options. Certificate-focused boot camps and community colleges are two places where people can now find these educational opportunities. Their availability and affordability make it clear to why certificate programs have never been more popular. In case you guys don't know already, the Tatawwar's online course will provide you with a certificate for an internationally awarded program worth showing off to your friends and family, but more importantly, will help boost your chances with being accepted in universities and possibly help launch your career as a social entrepreneur. So don't miss the chance and go for it. It's worth it. Sign up now at www.tatawwar.com and start your journey. That's all from me for this week. Thank you and see you next time.
Thank you, Umaima, for the great insights and trends. I think we always learned something from Umaima. I would like to say a big thank you for our esteemed guest speakers, Mr. Luke and Mrs. Anoshin Saveri, who came out of the way to speak with us on a weekend, which is supposed to be on a bed and reading books, but thank you for coming here. And please follow us on our social media. That's Tatawwar Me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and also we're new on TikTok. And join us next week with Amo, who is going to speak on Instagram Live. So thank you, everyone. See you next week. Adios.
Bye-bye.